Sue, how are you? Bob, welcome to Boise.
Thank you, Tom.
Understand you saw the blue turf yesterday?
Yes, we did. We're big Boise State Bronco fans.
Now the family project, that's when during the high school years it all kind of came full circle and things got really serious with JR's Quest. Why don't you tell us about that?
Sure thing. Family project is just what it says. Family. Family has been involved in JR's development through the first years when he was just 12 and 13 years old, when he came up with the idea, I want to be in the 2010 Olympics. And so it took all of us. It took my wife Sue and me, it took the grandparents, the older brothers, it took the aunts, uncles, cousins. Everybody was involved with JR the whole way. And for any child dreamer out there, that's what it'll take. It takes the support mechanism of the family in order to make this thing happen. From start at the young age through the teen years, those tough years when you can lose focus, and staying with that program until the very end. And so that's what it takes. It takes family the whole way.
When JR was 12, he decided after seeing the 2002 Olympics, he did all he could do in inline and wanted to take the challenge of going to the ice. And he did a lot of studying himself when he was 13 and figured he needed to move to California away from us. That was the tough part of it, was moving away from us. However, he had dreams in mind. And for us as parents, we felt, you know, these are very serious dreams. And we want to be part of your dreams. So to help JR fulfill his dreams, we allowed him to move away with our oldest son, who was 24 at the time, and trusted JR with him. And we wound up visiting them quite a bit. But the fact was the matter that our family project was within the family, and we all supported JR and what he was doing. And at the same time as he was fulfilling his dream, skating on ice, he was also fulfilling something which was just as important, and that was his education.
And so the next part of the family project is for you moms and dads, grandmas, grandpas, and everybody else. You're going to see this child dreamer sometimes on the top of the podium, and sometimes they're not going to make the cut in whatever it is that they choose to do and whatever their dream is in. Sometimes they're going to fall and get injured, and moms and dads and everybody else has to be there to pick that child back up, put them back on track, and make that child realize that you can do it. You can do it. So all of you kids out there, you have that dream. You always remember you can do it, and moms and dads and everybody else are there to help you to do that as well. So in order to get JR, when he's a young 11, 12, 13-year-old, through the whole project, from the dream all the way until realization of that dream, which JR was able to do in Vancouver, we thought of a particular theme we followed through with JR to keep his focus on all the important aspects of what he had to cover in order to go through the initial part of the dream to finish that dream. And we came up with a theme called Trend. Setting the trend. T-R-E-N-D. And each of the letters has a specific meaning. The first letter, T, is for training. In order to realize a dream, it doesn't matter if you're going to play a trumpet or you're going to be a professional athlete. You have to have training in that particular area. And you have to have a good coach. Well, we were able to find JR a good coach. A gal named Wilma Boomstra was a tremendous coach early on. But one of the most important aspects of training is technique. Every sport, everything you do has a technique. And if I can tell you anything, you kids out there, if you're playing hockey or tennis, football, soccer, basketball, it doesn't matter what the sport is. You have to learn the technique. You have coaches and specialists to teach you that. It's up to you to open up your ears and open up your mind and listen to that. Never think you know it all, because somebody can always teach you something new. So if you learn the technique of your particular sport, then you are going to be able to move on and get better and better at that sport, and listen to everybody who has something to offer. Never turn your mind off. Work hard every day, every drill, every practice. I spent years with JR trying to teach him that. Every drill, every time he was on the ice, get something out of it, get something better. That's the training aspect of it. Okay, the next letter, R, is for rest. Now, how many of you kids out there like to play with Facebook and Twitter and MySpace and all that? Let me see your hands if you like that. Okay, those kind of things, if you really want to follow your dream, you can have fun with that stuff. But you know what? At some point at night, you need to put that away, put it down, turn your phones off, and get to sleep, because your body needs to rest and your mind needs to rest as well. So you can't let these distractions, like all these things, get in your way, because they will if you allow them to, and they'll get in the way of following your dream. So when it's time to rest, put the stuff away and go to bed. And I know the moms and dads are all out there shaking their, or nodding their heads, saying, yeah. Believe me, we've been through all that. Okay, the E for trend is for equipment. Every sport, whether you play tennis, hockey, every sport has equipment that you have to take care of. And so for you kids out there, you've got to learn to take care of your own equipment. Moms and dads can do it for you when you're young, but eventually you have to learn how to take care of your equipment. And JR did as well. It took years for him to figure out, you think that these are just a pair of skates. These are not. These are what guides him and glides him around that rink. And it took years for him to learn how to rock the blade. Hockey players know what I'm talking about there. How to bend the blade, how to get it just perfect. So when he's out there against the world-class athletes going 30 miles an hour around, he better be able to count on his equipment. And so he had to learn how to take care of it and get it just perfect. How to get the skates sharp so that they could hold those edges when he's going full speed around the corners. Okay, so that's enough about equipment. Learn your equipment, learn how to take care of your equipment. The N is for nutrition. Now, nutrition is, in my mind, one of the most important things as the athlete becomes older and older and start getting into state level competitions, and then later on into national or world level competitions. And nutrition is a separator. In other words, if there are two athletes who have the same coach, the same training, the same environment, everything the same, what's going to separate those two as you get more and more elite into high school and college level and whatnot? For those of you that are dreamers, I'm sure you're dreaming about being on a high school or a college team. Nutrition is going to separate the ones who have everything else the same. Putting the best fuel in your body is important. Eliminating all the sugar and sweets and processed foods and putting whole, good, nutritional food of high value into your body. And so that's why years ago Sue and I associated with the AIM companies, actually in early 2002. And about a year later, we got JR into the AIM products as well. And then at some point, AIM companies graciously started sponsoring JR. And ever since the late 2003, we've been associated with the AIM companies as far as with JR. And the AIM companies has tremendous products. And just let me say a few things about what's important in your body to take care of. First of all, taking care of your immune system. If you take the right products, and in particular for JR, the AIM products, it protected his immune system so he was rarely sick. He was always able to practice. He didn't miss competitions because he was sick with the flu or colds or that kind of thing. And so taking care of the immune system. Your